So in today's video, I want to discuss this. It's Poison by Powerwolf, artists, collective or hired artist, illustrated and um, played as well as acted out song from Alice Cooper called Poison. And I have to admit, I'm a big fan of this video. So first, the music. I'm not a big fan of Alice Cooper, but his music in this sense, some songs are good. And this one is cliche, but it's good. It's a really good song. It's so nice. But what's more important is the fact that Powerwolf is doing a really great job in performing the song. Is the whole illustration. So what I think is important is you see 4 trees, right? Now you see 5. Here's the 5th one. You just don't see it immediately, but you see 4 trees, and then you see the snake, then you see a tree, and then the apple, which is really funny because you see this tree from the shadows, which is a hint to something unconscious, I think. But I don't care. It's just a video. I just like the illustration and the ideas that come with it. I don't imply anything. It's just that there are cool ideas in the video, which I really like. So first, you have the snake crawling up to the apple, right? In 3 trees that are not truly visible. So you have a third tree here, which is kind of visible, but it's not as dominant as this one, even though this has shades on it, but not where the snake is, with its head. It's illumination. Illumination by looking at the apple and maybe tasting it. It's very funny. Anyway, there's another tree in the background here, right? It's almost illuminated and almost a full tree. And then is there something that is in the shades. Which funny, because on the opposite side there's a full tree almost. No, there is a full tree in the shades, because this is the shadows of it, and it just has a little, oh, little here. If you see it, like it's a knick. I don't know what this is in English, a slip? No, it's not a slip. What is it? It's a knick, but what is it? Well, it's very funny because I can't know the word right now without making fun in future sentences of myself if I would present this video further. So I can tell it in a minute or something like it. So this tree here is totally incomplete, except for one little part that's in the shade. So the hint to sexuality, by the way, definitely. So the snake is crawling up to the apple. Funny thing is, Adam is the one who ate the apple, not the snake. So the funny thing is, the snake is now Adam, but the snake is symbolizing Lucifer, right? That's why it gets funny. The tree is of course hidden because of a reason, because you realize it at some certain point of the fade out that there is a full tree because of the video also. But then you also realize there's a bunch of trees and you don't know which tree is which tree and how many there are before you realize that. But you realize that most of the time in the video. And the funny thing is, this almost looks like a bug that's looking over, right? Snake eats bugs, but the bug is also the bug. Like, because if you look at the video, you see God first as a face. At least me, I was highly psychotic. I don't have schizophrenic symptoms at the moment. I just find things funny that are different art in a sense. I find art sometimes funny and some other things. What I mean is I'm very coherent in my thinking, and I do usually catch my words. But what's the point is, God is hidden everywhere in this picture. If you see it, he just moved here because I looked there. Like, if you looked at your eyes here, for me it was that God appeared here, a face. And more importantly, that God is in the moving leaves of the tree. Because of several reasons. The wind is God in the Garden of Eden. Because it's created by God. It's a messenger of God. It's God's power that makes the leaves move. It's God. And the snake is still crawling up to the apple, right? And is totally illuminated in this process. Not by the apple, but in the process. And the whole song is called Poison. This time it's really the dangerous apple. But the snake knows that, because the snake is illuminated. Look. If you look at the snake, it has a certain... now I can say the word. We're a little bit later. Still a not really well describing word, though. Well, anyway. An edge, you could say. That's almost it. It's the same paradigm, so it doesn't matter. What it means is this edge here, which I would call an encircled encircled weird. I have multiple ideas right now, but what I mean is the snake is hidden because this encircling slit that it takes, which of course a snake does, but it encircles in this case something like the tree, which is standing upright, but more importantly, not the sexual side that you could definitely interpret into this video if you see a snake like that. Just it's weird because that should be Eve, but then again, it's Adam looking at it and Eve following, so it's kind of funny there. What I mean is, especially if you now see these plateaus that almost resemble something. Anyway, it's very well done. It is the fact that you see the snake is not where it's encircling the tree like it should with the tail. It's not really preparing to not fall off the tree when it takes the first bite, which it should in any case, because it takes the first bite of an apple that it never knows. It will be either in a state of hurry to climb back down and will encircle itself, or it will just be shocked and encircle itself. But in the moment where it doesn't care if it's dead or not, it's very Nietzschean. It just takes the apple and eats it and takes the poison. And that's from Alice Cooper, a cover by Powerwolf. I think this is hilarious. So, additional thoughts. I wasn't fully done with everything. I just did find it very hilarious and didn't laugh too much because it didn't let the laughter about the whole idea, which is very greatly done as an art concept, as well as the ideas I have to what's it directed. Because you get the last of the ideas now. So the thing is, if Adam is the snake, how is that possible? That shouldn't be the truth. Like, it shouldn't be Eve either. It's not possible. Why does the Satan eat the apple? That doesn't make sense. Satan does want to sacrifice himself for humanity. Okay, that's an interesting idea. But how does that work? He just gets thrown out of the garden again as well if he's there. God will not be hesitant. He threw Satan the first time out just because he gave it to someone. Why should it be different then? It's the same archetype like myself. That's why. Because Satan would then give the power to someone else than God. But it's only a tree for God. It's never meant for someone else. The ancients don't eat from it. It's wrong. It's not in the Bible. It's a myth. The ancients don't eat from the tree of knowledge. It's for God. That doesn't have any reasons except God. Unless the tree would be dangerous, which it isn't described as in the Bible. There's another reason why Adam and Eve die. And the thing is, what's more important, if Adam is the snake, because he's the one who takes the first bite, and now we have the big implication of the first tree. Why it's in the shadow and you don't realize it before? Because you're Adam. You're Adam in the story. You're the snake. It's very well done. Very well done to build up a idea you're conscious of. It's very nutritious for the spirit. It's very well done. But that's not the point. In the story, you're Adam. You're looking from the tree, or you're Eve. It doesn't matter which gender you have. And you are either guided by the snake or the snake. It doesn't matter. You could be both in both genders. And the point is you take the apple because you're also God. And you realize that. The moment you look from the darkness down to the slowly illuminating snake, you realize that there are different patterns everywhere. Every viewer should have their own pattern. I think like it usually is, but usually people don't see the same stuff at the same spot, and especially not, which is even more unlikely, people see the same stuff in different spots, but the unlike stuff, which is completely opposite and contrary and doesn't make any sense, in the same spot. And the spots are here. This is one. This is one where I see a triangle. Maybe, I don't know. I believe in Zeus. In a way. Not really Zeus. But yes, Zeus. It's weird if I think that God, Adam, and Satan are the same people. It's pretty self-explanatory which rules are then guiding my religion. So, but what's more important, this is the point, I see delta there, here's the point, I see a face there, here's the point, I see a face, there's the point, which by the way is very important, the snake vanishes into the tree here. The snake is losing its face to the point of illumination, which again hints that it's faceless, as an avatar of Adam God. Of Adam God away again, there again. So, back there. Now, which is a sense for time shifting. I don't know. Before the new lyrics come in, but it's just a trick by the snake. It's in the video. It's very well done, and more important, the face of the snake is vanishing. It's faceless as an avatar, as with these traits of Satan and God, because God knows this. And more importantly, why is the snake God? This is really weird. Because it's obvious as soon as you see the point. So here's a point, here's a point, here's a point, here's a point. The apple is a point because don't ask your friends what proportions or apple kind of apple they see. Don't. And more important, here is another face. I'm, by the way, not clear. I don't take any credit for this. It's just an interpretation. And now you see that the snake is stained here. I don't think it's my laptop. No, it's not. The snake is stained here. You didn't see that before. I didn't see that either. Because maybe it is. Doesn't matter. The snake is now changing after the illumination, after the flying away of the leaf. I just looked at the moment. I didn't find it before. Quite interesting. Now the snake is differently illuminated because the leaves fly away and God's power is inside the snake. Right? This sounds really weird, but it makes a lot of sense if you take the leaves as connected and as power of God. Right? So the snake is embodied with the power of the wind, but Adam is taking its place because it is the snake. Adam is the snake. The snake moves away. It's not Adam anymore. Adam is already out of the picture because he already moved towards it. The snake is not playing the hideous trick. And then you realize that God is there. You should see a face there. Not a particular one. It doesn't really matter. I don't. What's more important, if you look at this picture now, it's for me. As soon as you saw this once and the vanishing face, you see it. It's to me it's obvious. As soon as I consider that way, it's a tree. And as soon as I consider that God is everywhere in the leaves. And it's everywhere on this picture, but each for an individual. But what stays the same is that you see here something, here something, here something, here something, here something, and you might see something in the tree, and some other points, which are very weird. Almost. Ja. Und das ist das, wenn man es mit einer Maus nachgeht. Und das ist halt der Antipunkt, wenn man das so möchte. Aber ich kann es mit der Maus halt nicht genau zeigen, es sind nicht so viele Punkte, ich muss nur immer ein bisschen hin und her switchen, das sind nur ein paar Punkte, die ich jetzt alle nicht benennen kann, weil es viel zu viel ist für ein Video, aber vielleicht mache ich das auch nochmal. Aber auf jeden Fall ist das so die Theorie, die ich dahinter habe. Also, die Snake symbolisiert halt das, was man werden kann durch den Apfel. Und das ist halt Gott. Und der Apfel empowert. Das ist im Endeffekt die Geschichte dahinter. Und ich finde, es ist hilarious, wie es gemacht ist. Und es ist very well done. Durch den Biss von dem Baum der Erkenntnisse Gott wird. Aber es stimmt ja nicht, du bist ja schon vorher Gott. Und deswegen kommt die Schlange am Ende und geht auch mal weg, bevor der neue Songtitel kommt, die neuen Lyrics. Das ist voll witzig. Sorry for the German. No, so in the end, the snake doesn't really matter, right? I don't know when I flipped. The snake moves away from the apple, from which knowledge it would have power driven by the amount it does, and therefore become a god. And it moves away a little bit. I think it's very funny. Of course, to set this straight, that's not good. But I mean, the story is good. It's very well performed. It's very well articulated, and the art is very good. But the idea is not good. You shouldn't consume that fruit for the sake of getting more power. It's okay to get more power. I get it. But the fruit that is giving you the sheer knowledge of your own existence shouldn't be pursued by power. It's wrong. It cannot be the reason. If it is the reason, you're in the wrong reason. And the reason for that is that it's also hilarious. That the idea you have then from power is not self-respectful. For that is that if you take something that gives you knowledge about yourself and you pursue it in the state of making yourself into a higher existence, and I mean that how I say it because that's the end result, the idea is making yourself into a higher state of being from which you can form a new self that is in a higher level of power towards other individuals. That's if you would pursue it with power. But you do need a different reason. If you want to take from the fruit of knowledge, if you wish to so, I mean, if it would be real, and I'm not saying it is, then the question remains, why would you do it? That's the whole question in the religious debates sometimes. And I would say the idea is it doesn't matter. It's the best way. If you have a true emotion like it doesn't matter, I need to take that apple, nothing happens. You can be punished by God, that's true. But nothing really happens. You can pursue it out of different reasons. You can pursue it for self-worth. So you can eat the apple because you want to feel worthy of yourself, and despite the fact that there could be a God creating you, or have been created you. Yes. So in the end, there's a lot of different reasons why this apple is temptatious. The question is the snake doing the right thing? Is it doing the right thing when it pursues it in power, especially if the concepts that I presented are in any way near to correct? Meaning, the snake doesn't do it for power, but for power in itself, over other people, right? That's why Adam is suddenly the snake. So is that correct? Depends. We're talking about the apple of knowledge, the first bite. That wouldn't be smart. If you talk about knowledge to gain it, to have more power than other people, it's also okay. To gain it to overpower people is, I think, very wrong. So no, the snake is, in my mind, at least if my hypotheses are true, not doing the right and correct thing. It's even worse than that, it just deads itself. So all the parts remain alive and not caring for the snake. And it will just slither away and start eating the apple, and the snake will die. Which would end bad for the loved one, for that doesn't matter. Because it would follow the animal, right? Sure. If you could have a loved one you care about, or do have a loved one you care about, and I mean have, in the sense that you have that person in a place next to you, in a sense where it is by you, and by your side, and by your spirit, and by you and yourself. Then you do get the trait of, I think, interlocking yourself, in a sense, with something in you that is not of the nature of rationality. Doesn't mean by which senses you do it. And for that is that you do experience some kind of nature that is closer to the one of an animal. I don't mean this again in any way. For that is that you experience love differently. In such a way you can experience it with yourself, it's true. But you experience the ideas that come from it in such a way that driven not by instinct, but by something else. Something you don't know yet. It's very unhuman. Every time you pursue love, you're faced with the possibility that there's something you suddenly don't know. And more important, something you don't know what guides you, right? If I say to my wife, "Wifey, what do you want to eat tonight?" and I would say that to her, like, what would you want to eat? Maybe, I don't know. You can pronounce it differently, but what would you want to eat is the best thing, I guess. No, maybe not. It depends. The idea is that you propose that question, no matter which question it is, and I'm not speaking about any certain way here of question that was pops into the mind immediately. And the thing is that this question, no matter which one you ask or which action you do regarding a loved one, you kind of put some idea of not knowing what will happen into it, but yet trusting the person, so everything will stay the same. Idea behind it: let's do something. Let's waste our time. For me. And point being is that this apple there is wasting time. It's fun. Even if you die, I mean, you go. But then you do it for power, right? And you take the first bite of something that makes you know what actually is the truth, or even tells it to you, which doesn't matter then if it's implied or not. And you eat it. It's not smart, but it's very temptatious, because the animal side is thinking, yes, it's very good. The animal side of you, which can be manifested as a spirit animal inside your mind, as an animal you feel like, as different attributes you have in your mind, as in sense of being that animal, in the perception of it. It really doesn't matter. To my mind at least. No, I think it doesn't matter. And the question is, what does the animal do? The animal wants to eat the apple, not Adam. That's funny. That's very funny in the story. But more funny is this cover, because it portrays the snake as Adam, and Adam's never the snake, unless he wants to be, and then he will eat the apple.